masculinity and our relationship. Because again, like on here, I like to, help. The whole thing of what I love to do here, and the reason I'm doing this podcast, as we've talked about, is really around that two things: helping guys find relationships, intimate relationships, also, guy relationships, and also improve their relationships. And I feel like, we've had our major challenges, as the audience knows as well, but I'm sure we'll talk about more today. But I feel like we've got an extremely strong relationship. Because of a few things, which I know we'll talk about. But how have you seen the evolution of me and my masculinity, both non-toxic and toxic?
I don't think you've ever been a toxic masculine. You've never used your powers to do harm or to hurt people. I think yours was more, you were highly feminized by an extremely masculine mother who raised you to, all power. Kels, if you're listening, I love you, but like, she raised you to be at that far end, right? To actually be quite disconnected from your masculine. She wanted you to be a girl. Let's be realistic, right? She wanted a girl. No, and you're not. You're not there. You're not feminine at a core. You can bring those tendencies out when you need to, but like that's not who you are. So I think the reason I probably, if I think about it now, I think the reason we probably ended up together when we were young, you were 20, right? I was 23, was like, you were the nice guy at that point, right? And I think a lot of women...
Hey, I'm still nice.
You're still nice, but what I mean is you're like the modern version of nice, like, which is what mothers of the 80s and 90s, in my opinion, because I can only speak for our generation, right? I can't speak for the generation before, I can't speak for the generation after, but like those women typically wanted their boys to be the nice boys because they had fathers that were toxic, or fathers that had gone to war, fathers and or brothers that had gone to war, or grandparents, right? So like, again, different generation. I'm not going to talk about what that meant for them, but I feel like a lot of our mothers had fathers that were absent by choice or by circumstance. And I know, for my mother, like, and my grandmother, in abusive environments with toxic men. So therefore, you either repeat the pattern and you raise more toxic children, or you're like, no, I don't want that for my kids. And I think your mum, like, again, I'm not trying to speak for her, but I think whatever her circumstances were, she wanted to raise you as the nice guy. So when we met, you were definitely the nice guy, and I came from an environment where my father was absent by choice, absent in his approach to parenting, absent in his approach to being a part of our family and helping my mother. And so I think I latched onto you because you were communicative and you were the nice guy and you cared about me, and all those things haven't changed, except over time your journey with masculinity has changed because you've realized you were raised, if we're talking about the terminology masculinity, femininity, you were raised very feminine. I'm sure you've talked about this on your podcast before.
Both, sorry to interrupt real quick, but we all have both.
Yes.
We all have masculine, we all have femininity. And certain people, like majority males and females, most of the time, males will be more driven by the masculine and have the feminine there as the other side, and females, biological females, will be driven from femininity and alter, which I'd love to get into in a minute.
Yeah. So I just think, again, if you're a person that's growth orientated, you never stop learning, you never stop growing. And so I think just with your journey, again, I'm sure your listeners know your police journey, leaving the police, all of that, like that opened a Pandora's box for you about who you were and your identity. And that era was really what started for you to shift the, like, looking at yourself more broadly, like, who am I? How do I become a better person? How do I grow through adversity? Which led us to personal development situations where you started to learn these things about yourself.